Hello, the Harrowing. My name is Lulu. I'm a troll like you. My claim to fame is trolling Steve McRae into almost admitting he doxes his critics. I was called a liar and told my intel was incorrect because I had no videos and subscribers. But after trolling him, I uploaded a video and noticed a lot of views came in on it the next day after my trolling. Anyway, I watched your video called Bullied Off the Internet, and it's a riot. In your video, you implied Cheshire Vic has been bullied off the internet. Bullied off the internet with Cheshire Vic's previous avatar showing. Description, you wrote. A YouTuber was bullied into making her Twitter private, then going completely silent on the internet only a few days after we talked about this. That's actual cyberbullying. Thanks for listening to me rant at the void. Hydra Dominatus. Well, I was going to do a little test. I am going to be talked about on the internet and then close my channel and not say anything for a few days. Perhaps I will also close down my Twitter as well. Then I can make a video entitled Bullied Off the Internet with my own avatar. And in it, I'll be able to make many baseless claims just as you have. Is this the game you want to play? I find no evidence for your claims, the Harrowing. Further, people discussing the antics of Cheshire Vic on Twitter is not evidence of bullying. The footage of Leslie Bass you included in your video, wherein she is discussing, in astonished tones, the argument put forth by Cheshire Vic, that is not bullying either. Your video description, too, is in error. So you have published a video, a title, and a video description that is completely baseless and in error. I ask that you correct the errors. Your video has received many views and comments. I read through these and noticed viewers leaving many good points and some testimony about their personal experience with Cheshire Vic and her friends. I will recite some of these now. My apologies if it takes a bit too long for your comfort. The first comment I will receive is by Diana Awesome Laser, 22 hours ago at the time of my recording. Holding someone accountable for the idiotic statements they make on the internet is not bullying. I have publicly stated I don't agree with flagging channels or accounts, but I have no sympathy for Chesh being held accountable for her bad behavior. She proudly refers to herself as a troll. She harasses people on Twitter and YouTube constantly. She asked someone to find my identity and then publicly supported him as he doxed the wrong woman. Excuse me if I have a hard time feeling any sympathy for the poor little smob general. She's just reaping what she sowed. Next comment by Tony Designs, 1 day ago at the time of my recording. First, I'm hearing about a false flag campaign. That said, this is all basically a red herring. She's done and said so many objectionable things that addressing the only ones which people made fun of recently is a bit ridiculous. There are more than enough receipts of her past actions, some of which could easily result in civil, if not criminal actions, if those she wronged so choose. Falsely claiming people engaged in a false flagging campaign is itself a violation of community guidelines. Also, you don't have to say Katie Joy Paulson's name. Flashing her picture was enough. Whoever you are, if you now stream with the person under the restraining order, they will be in violation, and I'm quite certain she's able to subpoena the information on any other channel names you have. That said, I can certainly understand why you'd use a sock. I would want some credible deniability if I were engaging in apologia for such a person. The next comment I will read is by Learning with Suge, 20 hours ago at the time of my recording. An opinion about aborting a 3-year-old child should be heavily scrutinized. Do you disagree? Do you just lazily cast aside any legitimate criticism that you find difficult to rebut as the work of trolls? People should be much more responsible for the information they put out. This is not hating, trolling, or deplatforming. This is market self-correction. If someone releases toxic fumes that is harmful to a community, then any member of that community has not only the right, but the responsibility to combat that pollution. Stop playing the victim. If you want to correct the situation, then own up to your mistakes, apologize, and try to be better next time. The next comment I will read is by Fiona Robertson, 1 day ago at the time of my recording. Just for info, the notification of the community guidelines strike that Bass received turned out to be a forgery. In fact, her channel had received 2 copyright strikes, one from Viacom and one from another media company for streaming their shows from her TV screen to YouTube. The notification contained formatting errors and came from the wrong email address. So no, Katie Joy Paulson did not flag Leslie Bass for community guideline violations. The next comment I will read is by a user named Lono, 12 hours ago at the time of my recording. The problem is that Chesh does the same thing, if not worse to people, so she's getting a taste of her own medicine. Even if I don't agree with how people treat her, I think people should be held to their own standards. So if she's going to dish it out, then she should be able to take it. There's also a big difference between criticism and bullying, which I think gets conflated. But criticizing what someone says is totally fine, and most creators are doing just that. About the specific things she said, you're basically saying, I talked to her privately, and she either misspoke or was able to clarify, which is kind of irrelevant. Are you suggesting everyone does that before criticizing her? That itself could be a form of harassment. Having thousands of people contacting her is completely unrealistic. Isn't the onus on her to publicly correct herself or clarify what she said? If she's wrong, then she's putting out wrong information and people are going to call her out, criticize, correct, or give their opinions, and joke. That's what most of these channels do, including her. It seems like you're putting forth a weird standard just for her. These comments are only a sampling I have found under your video, bullied off the internet. I feel that Cheshire Vic disappeared off the internet for a short while after Steve McCrae received a restraining order from Katie Joy Paulson. I perceive Cheshire showed you the tweets she was seeing and was unhappy in that moment that things aren't going her way. I would imagine it's tough to be Chesh right now. Almost a year ago, she had hopes and dreams of taking something that didn't belong to her and becoming a co-owner of it as a co-host of the Non Sequitur show. And that hasn't happened yet. Perhaps she is simply frustrated. I am my own person. I do not speak for anyone but myself. However, back in August 2019, I was relegated as a troll and smeared as a member of a group of bad people by Steve McCrae, with a lot of you nodding your heads in agreement. Later, my username was added to Cheshire Vic's blocklist. Today, Cheshire's blocklist has exceeded 200 Twitter users. Forgive me if I am not ashamed to have been one of the first people on that list. As I see it, I'm among plenty of good people, intelligent people, and people with ethical standards who respect freedom of speech, online freedom and security, and folks who are actually working to combat fraud, conspiracy theories, and online harassment. Game update. We have Nick Suter. Unirock is on offense. You have received a restraining order from Katie Joy Paulson. Kyle still has the Non Sequitur show and his copyrights. We are no longer fighting in the middle of the battlefield with your pointless layered arguments. We are in your base, have your flag, and our base is well defended. Thank you for your time and attention. Agrippa Dominatus. Hill Shadow Rock's Strategy.